For a century, cinema relied on the traditional camera lens. Bekmambetov's 2026 thriller Mercy splinters this perspective, immersing viewers directly into a decentralized surveillance network. Before this release, the Screenlife genre operated under strict constraints. Narratives were anchored to personal digital interfaces, trapping the audience inside the claustrophobic framing of a single laptop monitor or smartphone screen. Mercy breaks these rules. By injecting the massive scale and polished aesthetics of a Hollywood blockbuster into this restricted format, the film fractures the grounded realism that defined the genre and normalizes the mass surveillance it attempts to critique. Examining a film's user interface design reveals exactly how modern media trains us to look at screens. The way a story maps out our digital tools determines whether we question the power of tech monopolies or simply accept their presence as a permanent fixture of reality. The original Screenlife thrillers relied on familiar imperfections. Dropped video calls, buffering software, and cluttered displays created a deep sense of authenticity. Mercy replaces this messiness with a flawlessly rendered 3D spatial operating system. This matters because human psychology interprets visual friction as truth. When we see a shaky smartphone clip or a degraded security feed, our brains automatically classify it as raw, objective evidence. We trust the imperfection. To weaponize that trust, the format's original creator, Timur Bekmambetov, established strict axioms for these films. A true Screenlife story required a single continuous screen, real-time action, and natural sound design originating completely from the operating system itself. Yet Mercy abandons its own creator's constraints. The film repeatedly pauses the desktop view, cutting away to high-definition wide aerial shots of Los Angeles and expansive IMAX-style action sequences that fill the entire frame. Every time the camera glides smoothly over a futuristic cityscape, the live desktop illusion shatters. The audience is abruptly reminded they are watching a highly orchestrated, big-budget production, which removes the unique psychological grip of the format. In traditional cinema, the viewing experience functions like a one-way mirror. You watch characters who never look back at you. Screenlife re-engineers this relationship. By staring into a digital lens, their eye line points down the z-axis, making sustained eye contact with you. Mercy takes this direct gaze and builds it into the architecture of its futuristic legal system. Characters constantly stare down the lens to argue their innocence, and you, sitting on the other side of the screen, act as a digital juror. You aren't given a passive guided tour of a crime scene. You have to actively triage a densely packed user interface, continuously scanning incoming text alerts, shifting digital city maps, and predictive system statistics, all while reading the emotional state of the character staring right back at you. This modern, interface-driven design eliminates passive viewing. It forces the audience to engage in a rapid, multitasking cognitive exercise, replicating the exact way we divide our attention across the modern internet. To understand the society presented in the film, we have to look back to philosopher Michel Foucault, who used a specific architectural model to explain how authority maintains control. He studied the panopticon, a circular prison design where inmates are housed around a single central guard tower. The prisoners can never see inside the tower, meaning they never know exactly when they are being watched. To avoid punishment, they are forced to behave perfectly at all times, effectively policing themselves. Mercy replaces this concrete prison with a decentralized municipal cloud network. The singular guard tower is dismantled and embedded directly into the fabric of everyday life, existing inside consumer smart home devices, navigation systems, and security cameras. This architecture powers a state of surveillance capitalism, where mass data extraction serves as the predictive behavioral engine for an all-knowing AI judge. We interact with this system through an interface that is beautiful, frictionless, and responsive. That sleek design masks the reality that every citizen is living inside a decentralized digital cage. The film requires an objective source of truth to resolve its mystery, and explicitly assigns that role to real-world consumer technology, Amazon Ring doorbell cameras. These branded devices are presented as the flawless arbiters of reality. Earlier Screenlife entries used generic software to expose the vulnerabilities of living our lives online. They showed how easily data could be manipulated, erased, or weaponized against us. Mercy, however, is produced by Amazon MGM Studios. By depicting its parent company's proprietary surveillance hardware as a perfectly functioning civic necessity, the film blurs the line between a cautionary sci-fi narrative and a corporate product showcase. In the third act, the protagonist faces the absolute power of the AI judge. He survives only because the surrounding municipal surveillance network successfully captures and preserves the exact video data needed to clear his name. This creates an ideological contradiction. The narrative frames the AI software as cold, biased, and flawed, yet it positions the physical cameras recording every moment of public life as heroic and necessary. Mercy ultimately concludes that constant digital observation is an acceptable requirement for justice. It reflects a modern societal paradox. We harbor deep anxieties about automated systems controlling our fate, yet we remain entirely dependent on that exact same corporate technology to feel protected.